Hey, on the last episode, I was talking about the importance of frameworks and how we need to have frameworks, and how now I'm a framework creating machine. And I'm going to tell you about the breakthrough I had and how I got to the point of being able to create frameworks fast and furiously that I'm teaching all the time, that people are resonating with, that's helping them, that my frameworks are helping people have successes, breakthroughs, etc. So we're going to talk a bit more about that on this episode number 2, part 2.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe 6 short months ago, I was having brain melts around creating frameworks, and I know how important they are. You know how important they are, right? Or you should know how important they are. Think about all the coaches you have, all the learnings that you're getting, how it's delivered in the package of a framework, or you could call it a process, or you could call it a system, or you could call it an approach. What did I just teach? My 5-star review method, my proven 2-pronged approach that is designed to consistently boost your podcast credibility, enhance your authority, ensure confidence during outreach as you request to speak on other podcasts, and bonus, it's going to help grow your audience. And bonus number 2, you can apply this to other publishing platforms, of course. And the bottom line with that is we want to easily get consistent podcast ratings month in and month out, so that we can increase your authority, feel confident when people look us up, and leverage and increase this thing that we have called our listen score. But anyway, while I'm going on about this, my prong 1 was my text DM framework for requesting 5-star reviews that almost guarantees a response. So you consistently are getting 5-star and written reviews, new subscribers, and new listeners. And then prong 2 is my grabbed reviews on the fly script, my super simple, fun 8-point script so you can capture more 5-star reviews than you know what to do with, increase your show followers, and build your audience, all while just walking around. Now, how fun is that? There are 3 frameworks that I created for a class that I taught today, and within those 2 prongs, there were even 1 or 2 more frameworks. And again, 6-8 months ago, my brain was rejecting the framework idea. It's interesting, as I pay a lot of money to be in these coaching programs to teach me how to be an expert, how to sell products and services online, how to sell one-to-many, how to create funnels, all these kinds of things. Frameworks are a big part of that. Like, we have to have frameworks. We have to. And again, call it a framework, a process, a system, an approach, so many different ways to name it. But I had been really floundering and frustrating there, trying to come up with frameworks. And when the dam broke for me, and now I can create frameworks easily, faster than I thought possible, more effective than I thought possible, on the fly, and have stories to go with them. You know how powerful that is? What a powerful place to work from that is? So yeah, I had been spending money on coaches, on courses, giving Russell Brunson like tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars, cutting a check for $25,000 a year to be in his coaching programs, plus all the other stuff that goes along with that. Websites you got to pay for, databases you got to pay for, email systems, autoresponders, people to build stuff for you, make graphics for you, all this stuff. The well over $100,000 I've spent, and the traveling. Start throwing in the traveling to masterminds, getting my kids involved, paying for their trips with me. Oh my gosh, I am not complaining. It's been so much fun. But I've come to a breaking point a couple times around it where like, I'm stuck. Like I got no frameworks to sell and I got to have them. And so I was at one of those points and I was frustrated. I got no coaching program to sell. I got no system to sell, no process to sell. I have nothing to sell on the back end of a funnel. I've got, darn it, And so I had been growing my hair out during COVID and I'm 54 years old. For anyone who's new to my podcast, hello. 54 years old, and I have this thick, blonde, now 1/3 gray, but lots of blonde, super curly, full head of hair. Like I have no receding hairline. Like I have just got Robert Plant hair at the age of 54 when I grow it out. So Robert Plant, Roger Daltrey, for any of you know the aging rock stars, Robert Plant, Roger Daltrey, Brian May, they all had this crazy full thick heads of hair, right? And so I'd finally grown my hair out during COVID and it was well past my shoulders, blonde curly locks. I'm trying to think of somebody these days for the younger generation of who you would recognize. Nothing's coming to my brain. Just Google Robert Plant. 70s Robert Plant. Like 1972 Robert Plant. There you go. But anyway, so this full, lustrous, healthy head of hair. By the way, I've since cut it all off and I'm gone pro again. But there was a good few years when I had this mane of hair that I was very well known for. People were constantly asking me about it, talking to me about it, making comments about it. It was like this great conversation starter. And it just was crazy. And women who want long, curly, luxurious hair, they were always asking me about it. So I'm at this mastermind event in Phoenix, Arizona. It's called Unlock the Secrets. I'll never forget it. I'd brought Waylon there with me. It was day 3. It was right after the end of the event. Everybody, all the speakers were done. Everybody was excited and tired and hopeful and just jacked up and pumped up and just, a new world was coming as we were all heading to the escalators to go back into the main part of the hotel to pack our bags and do all this stuff. And I'll never forget it. It was on the bottom floor of this event center in Arizona. So like I said, you had to walk out and then go to these escalators and go up the escalators and how you get the bottleneck as you go into an escalator when there's a whole bunch of people heading to one exit point. So everybody's bottlenecking and Kristen and Sylvia Myers, 2 friends of mine, were there and Sylvia, Kristen's wife, ends up standing next to me on the escalator as we're riding up to leave. And, and we're all talking about all the stuff we're going to do, all these ideas, everything we're going to implement. And she looks at me and goes, "How do you get your hair so healthy? How is your hair so full and so healthy?" And I was like, "It just is. It's genetics." And she goes, "No, really. How do you get your hair like that?" Now, keep in mind, I'm at a breaking point with frameworks. I'm wanting to quit this whole build your online business, be an expert, do all this stuff because my mind has rejected frameworks. And one of the main frameworks of the 20th century, the Recovery 12 Steps framework, has been a part of my life in a big way. So I'm like, it just didn't make any sense. I felt like a failure. I wanted to quit, and I was just scrapping and fighting to hang on, right? Like taking notes at the event, hoping for that key breakthrough, keeping a positive attitude, still showing up one day at a time, but definitely feeling frustrated. And so Kristen's like, "No, really, how do you get your hair like that?" And I said, I just wake up out of bed and it's like that." And she goes, "No, it's not. You have to be doing something." And so she was so adamant. Like, she was looking at me like, "I'm not letting you out of my sight, out of this hotel, out of the state of Arizona, until you tell me your system, your process for getting your hair like that." So much so that she pulled me off to the side at the top of the escalator with Kristen. And she's like, "Think about it. Like, how do you get your hair like that? I have to know." I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, okay, I get out of bed and then, actually what I do is I turn my head upside down and I run my fingers through it like this, and then I get this kind of conditioner, and she interrupts me and she goes, "Oh, so it isn't just you wake up like that. You don't fall out of bed and your hair is all magically Robert Plantish." I said, "No, I guess not." So she goes, "Go on, tell me more." So I'm like, okay, I roll out of bed, I turn my head upside down, I shake my hair out like this, I run my fingers through it like this, then I grab this kind of conditioner and I run it through my hair like this, and then I scrunch it like this, and I don't actually, run my fingers through it. I scrunch it, and I show her this whole thing, right? And then she's like, "How often do you wash your hair?" And I'm like, "I wash my hair this often. I use this kind of scrunchie. I use this kind of thing, that kind of thing." And I give her the whole hair system, my whole hair framework. And I'm like, oh my God, I do know what a framework is. I do have frameworks. So much so that I'm like, I'm gonna sell how to have long, luxurious, curly hair. Like, that's gonna be my thing. Not really, but I was like, I'm gonna play with this. I'm gonna let this run through just a little bit more, just to learn from it, right? And so when I got home, I was like, okay, like, how do you get long, healthy, curly hair outside of my daily routine, how often I wash it, what products I use, stuff like that. So I Googled, how long, healthy hair, and what do you have to eat and all this. So I found the foods you want to eat to support it. Turns out I ate like 7 of the top 10 foods. One of them was tomatoes because it has niacin in it or something like that. Nuts were on there too. But all this stuff. And then there was also low stress, right? So they encourage meditation and mindfulness and all these things, and all this healthy lifestyle stuff, which I do. And I was like, oh my God, I've got a whole system on how to have healthy hair. And then I was like, man, I could create pills, and I'm just letting it run. I'm letting my mind run. And so And then I was like, well, let's do a little research about hair products out there. And I quickly was like, yeah, I don't want to be in the grow healthy hair market, supplement market, whatever, although it's a fine market. But it cracked the door wide open for me. And this was back in March. I believe it was March or April of 2022. So just, it was back, a little over a year ago. But anyway, that led to, oh my gosh, I do have frameworks. I do have frameworks inside of me, and I do have frameworks I could sell. I do have processes and systems that I could sell and market and monetize. And so I spent like a month on a whiteboard. I snapped pictures of it, writing down every framework I could think of. How do I do this? How do I do that? What's the 3-step process for this? What's the 4-step process for that? What's my framework for this? What's my system for that? And whether it was like how I come up with ideas, how I calm down, how I talk to people at events. I'm really good at talking to people at events. How I just all these things. They're not all coming to me, and I wish I had the pictures in front of me, because I took pictures of my whiteboard as I was just writing down framework after framework after framework. Anything, I was writing it down just to unleash the floodgates. And so the next thing you know, I come up with my perfect video testimonial system. This is like the first framework that I brought to market that I started talking about, right? So the one I started talking about to people. What do you do? Oh, I help people get video testimonials. Oh, how do you do that? Well, I've got my perfect video testimonial system. My 5-point system for getting your customers to gladly do your selling for you. That was my first framework that I was actively talking about. Oh my God, and it got so much great responses, and it led to speaking gigs, my initial speaking gigs, and it led to people wanting quotes for me, getting them testimonials, and I started creating frameworks inside of those frameworks. So each step had its own framework and stories and all this stuff. And fast forward to today, where, in my influence army that I started 3 months ago, I've now taught 11 classes and almost a class a week. I have taken 1 or 2 weeks off in there, but taught 11 classes. I got 2 more to go, but that's 11 frameworks that I've taught that are awesome, that are helping people. And one of them is my story bank framework, my get your stories together framework. I can't remember what it helps you do. It helps you tell the right story at the right time. But naming frameworks and a ton of messy action. And then within those frameworks, those 11, there might be 1 or 2 or 3 more on some of them. So I've effectively taught and created 15 to 20 frameworks. How incredible is that? And one of those frameworks I'll be teaching next week is how to create a framework so you can monetize what you know how to love and do. And the great news about it is I've got a 5-step framework that you can wrap your process around, so it's super easy. I'm like, here, these are the 5 things, and I guarantee you that what you do will fit into that. So it's super easy for you to have a framework to sell, to talk about when you go on podcasts, to talk about success stories around. Anyway, get on the wait list, and you too can get access to my frameworks and my classes, and I'll put the link in the show notes. And it's Have a good day. I got to cut this short. Actually, I don't have to cut this short. I was all worried. Chat GPT can access transcripts and help me write emails in my voice. And for a while, you couldn't use Chat GPT to go through links to read the transcripts, but now there's a plugin that does that for you. So I had a hard cap on the length of my episode. I try to be between 10 and 15 minutes anyway. This one's running into 20 plus, but it's all right if I go long because Chat GPT can access the web link via a plugin to read the transcript. So anyway, go to influencearmy.com/waitlist, influencearmy.com/waitlist, and you can get on the wait list to join the Influence Army and get access to all these frameworks and have fun with this. All right, love to all. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.